What is up, RotoGrinders? You got us on a Fleet Thursday. We'll go ahead and drop that first clue for the people because it's not very helpful. The first clue for Fleet Thursday is retired. Retired. We'll go ahead and scroll that. We're here for the next hour and 15 minutes till we yield to crunch time. Crunch time coming in, taking it all the way up the lock. We got Kirkwood, Taylor Smith, Kevin Roth as well, myself, two-time millionaire winner, Head Chopper. We have a 7-game slate. It was always a 7-game slate, but we did lose the last game, Charlotte and the Lakers, because of the tragedy out there with the fires in California. Thoughts are with those out there. Hopefully everybody's safe as can be. Chopper, welcome. How's Thursday treating you?
Thursday, it's a toughie. We're all over the place here, man. It's bad weather out there, and then over there in Cali, they're getting beat up by the wind, helping the fires escalate, and it's a tough scene out there. And then we got a football game. We got a football game tonight, Dean. All kinds of stuff in the football game. We got possible flu for one side, and on the other side, I'm getting pictures of star quarterback on a yacht today, soaking up the sun. That's not good. It's not good.
Like a live picture?
Yeah, like just hours before supposed to be reporting to the field, he's out there playing around on a yacht in Miami, man. Like that's not. So there's all kinds
the game
of stuff.
I didn't know the game was on Miami. Okay,
Isn't it?
I don't know. Is the Orange Bowl? Is that? Do they call these bowl games still, or
they did?
Are they still sponsored?
The first couple of rounds were. I'm not sure if these are, but I'm pretty sure they're in Miami. Where is the Penn State game tonight?
As you Google that, we do have a poll.
Hard Rock Stadium in Miami.
There you go. Which, by the way, it's not in Miami. I know it's in Miami Gardens, which is like 20, 30 minutes or so from Miami. But do they show you the shots on TV like South Beach? And that's not right around the corner. It's kind of in the middle of nowhere. I shouldn't say middle of nowhere, but it's not by Miami. Notre Dame, Penn State. The people want to know, Chop. I saw there was an expert survey. If you have RG Premium, I saw you filled it out as well as cards and other people. I don't know if you made an official pick on scores and odds. Any change as far as your opinion? Because I guess Notre Dame's sick to some degree, or the quarterback for Penn State is allegedly on a yacht. I'm seeing Penn State plus 1.5. How are we feeling?
I don't have none of that has any bearing on me. I don't think it's really anything big either way. But I've had the same opinion all week, which is I kind of slightly now these games are coin flips. These aren't like 5-star lock and loads, man. These are tough games. These are four good teams. I've thought the whole week Penn State. I think Penn State can pass on Notre Dame a little bit more than Notre Dame will be able to pass against Penn State. I don't think either running game is going to get off the ground tonight. So I would say the passing game is where it's going to be won or lost, and I slightly favor Penn State and their ability to move it through the air. So it's a toss-up, but I'm leaning on Penn State right now.
Take the point, basically. Yeah, get in on the poll. We have early votes in the chat. 56% for Notre Dame. That's your early vote. Yeah, it's pretty much a coin toss like you're suggesting. It's nice out, by the way. It's in the 60s in Miami. So, obviously this time of year, no humidity not an issue. The heat not really an issue. Should be good weather-wise. I don't know about rain. Check and see what Roth has to say, but I assume we are clean. Chop, 7-gamer going down tonight in the association. As far as back-to-back stuff, 2 teams in the front end. That's Golden State and Orlando, which in part, Banchero officially going to be coming back. I shouldn't say officially, but as reported, he'll be coming back tomorrow. We'll get the return of Banchero. The Warriors also have some guys that are questionable. They're probably going to be doing you get one game depending on today or tomorrow. We did see Wiggins was ruled out for personal reasons for Golden State. But Steph is, of course, questionable. They play tomorrow. We probably plays one of those two. Draymond, obviously, we know he's a Michigan State guy. Even I know that. So I assume he plays tonight. We'll see. We'll get that news, though. 7 o'clock. That's a 7 o'clock game. So if we don't get it, Crunch Time's going to get it. Memphis is still up in the air as far as big injury stuff we're monitoring. Schroeder, by the way, questionable, too, for Golden State. We're getting Osar Thompson back tonight for Detroit. Banchero is officially, I guess they're saying he's questionable, but he's not playing. He's going to be playing tomorrow. And then we got Donovan Mitchell getting ruled out tonight on rest because of that spectacular game versus the Thunder yesterday. Went way over the total. We talked about that one in the show yesterday. How that game was probably sneaky good for DFS despite two good defenses. Gafford is questionable. I would say he's more likely doubtful, but he's questionable as well. Later game, Tari Eason doubtful, and I can't imagine he plays for Houston because you got to keep giving Amon Thompson his 40 minutes. That dude is just awesome. They played him with 39 minutes in 3 of the last 4 games. Triple J, John Morant, they're both questionable for Memphis, as is Desmond Bane and Santi Aldama. So got to monitor that. Memphis is probably the biggest stuff up in the air. I think most of them do play. Pretty important game there. As important as games can be this time of year, I suppose, Chop, against your Rockets. And we did get to, just before the show started, I saw Bogdanovich is questionable, downgraded to questionable in Phoenix tonight. Obviously, Jalen Johnson there as well. And Okongwu is questionable, and their backup. Johnson will play some backup 5, and Larry Nance will play some backup 5. Those guys, of course, are unavailable as well. So lots of stuff. Never time to relax here in the association, Chop. Big picture, anything you want to say as far as the slates before we fully dive in and do the old game-by-game deal?
No, both sites cut off that last game regardless, even though it was canceled anyway, so we weren't even prepping for that thing anyhow. But 7 games, things are spread out, not a ton of value, so it's going to take some digging in to find out something good here.
Oh, should mention Portland and Dallas, they changed the time. I don't know if you saw that. I see DK did move it. I'm not sure if FanDuel did. Sometimes they have issues with that. It was moved up to 7:30 East Coast time, which I think is 6:30 local time because apparently there's some weather going on in Dallas and they want to get ahead of it. So just be alert, be aware of that. Like, you're probably, if you didn't know, you're probably not going to know the difference. And I'm hitting refresh on Lineup HQ. Were we able to move the time? No, we still have it at 8 or 8:30 or so, but understand that it's a 7:30 game now for Dallas and Portland. By the way, I mentioned Fleet Thursday. It's just like Movie Monday. You got to tell me what athlete we're talking about. First clue doesn't really help, but just kind of gets the beak wet. And where do you give your answers? Give your answers in the Discord channel, RotoGrinders.com/Discord, in the live stream chat channel, and just tell me what athlete I'm talking about. And if you can do that correctly first without MMEing, you can get 1 guess per clue drop. You get yourself a week free of RotoGrinders Premium. I just want to see if somebody binked it. No, Larry Bird was guessed, George Foreman, Gary Payton. I don't know what the strategy is. It's just, it's not Franco Harris, but that's a good guess. Miguel Cabrera. Is Miguel Cabrera officially retired? I guess he is, right? Did he retire last year? I don't remember. Or is he still getting paid?
I think he retired at the end of the season. I'm not sure.
I don't remember.
I think he had his last at bat, and they did the whole ceremony for him.
Okay. Yeah. I don't recall. One of my favorite players of all time. Hell of a run there for Cabrera. I watched his homer in the World Series off of Roger Clemens and in person. Probably one of my best in person, watching the game moments. That was pretty good. He was 20 years old. Clemens tried to brush him back, try to bully him, try to take his head off, and then maybe he took him yard. You got a live sport moment, Chop? Your best live sport moment you can think of?
Not really. I do remember. No, nothing. I'm trying to think, man. I don't think anything spectacular ever happened when I went to the game, so can't really say that. No, I don't think so. I'd have to think about it though. Like, I don't no big comebacks. I don't think.
Maybe a World Series or some sort of.
Oh no. I prefer to watch the good stuff at home on TV. I don't want to go. I don't want to go out and fight the in-person stuff. maybe back the days you're talking about, way back in the day.
Yeah, many years ago.
Yeah, that'd be probably pretty cool. But Astros never had no World Series back then. I've caught some Rockets playoff games. in person, but they never advanced very far those years. So
Olajuwon, you go back to Olajuwon?
yeah, I remember the dream. The dream.
Yeah.
By the way, speaking of Olajuwon, and those back in those days, it reminds me of Ralph Sampson. Ralph Sampson was the original
Wemby?
Wembanyama. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I
saw
hope
that
that's not the case
comparison.
because Samson got hurt and we never
I
really
saw
saw him.
that. I saw that comparison the other day, and I forgot about that. It's striking that Ralph Sampson could do a lot of those things too at 7'5", man. Like he could dribble the ball too and do a lot of that stuff. He was good.
Could he step out and hit a three?
Yes, he could. That's what tripped me out, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, the injuries got him. And I remember, but you know how crazy it is. Olajuwon, like, what do you think about when you think of him today and his demeanor and how kind he is? And
Hakeem.
yeah,
He's great dude.
like
Humanitarian.
he's a religious humanitarian. If you remember when he first came in the league before he discovered religion, he was a hothead, man. He's been in many fights on the NBA court, many fights off the NBA court. I don't know if you remember that.
Well, they say some guys, you cross the lines and all of a sudden you have a different demeanor.
No. It was the religious thing that changed him.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, he did seem like the greatest guy. When that kid, he was doing everything for. I remember you always hear about the humanitarian stuff he would do for Africa. All right, let us know in chat, by the way, if you have an in-person. Maybe we can top what we've thrown out there. Hoosier Saying Banner says, I watched Kerry Wood's 20 strikeout game from my dorm room. Yeah, that was the end of him, basically. Yeah, that was the curveball was absolutely bonkers. If you watch the highlights of that, when Kerry Wood struck out 20, God, I don't remember who it was, but it was pretty spectacular. Okay, Chop, anything else? We had some time. We had some time to kind of work in there. And we'll go ahead and throw out the second clue for the people because the first one, admittedly, is kind of useless because it doesn't really whittle it down. The second clue would be lucky number. So there you go. Retired, lucky number. First game we're going to talk about is the Raptors. The Raptors taking on Cleveland. Cleveland, despite being the back half of a back-to-back, they are 14-point favorites, 234.5. That is the total. That is a pretty big number. Cleveland probably has – do they have the highest team total on the board today? I think they do. We mentioned before that Mitchell is not playing basketball tonight because the expectation is probably unnecessary. You don't really need it against Toronto. Sam Merrill also questionable. Not a big deal, but incrementally it might matter. Toronto ruled out Agbaji. He's not playing basketball tonight. David Mitchell is available. Omar Murray's out as well. Who cares? The absence of Mitchell and the matchup here make these Cavs pretty appealing. Projections. Let me give it a refresh. I know it was like a half hour ago. They could have done some tinkering, but last time I saw the projections look really, really good for Garland. Garland, LeVert at 4-1. You're catching LeVert at 4-1. We're giving him 26 minutes. If he gets 26 minutes against this Raptor team, you got to feel pretty good about that as well. Mobley also looks pretty strong. Just 30 minutes. And we talked about it yesterday, how about the Cavs, they don't really push their guys. They've been involved in a lot of blowouts. It seems like a game where they probably won't play Mobley 35 minutes, but maybe in 30, he's still fine. How do you feel about the Cavs? We are expecting, I think we're projecting Strus to start. No, are we? Let me give. If this is the case, this is one of my favorite plays. But if he starts, all of a sudden he'll be crazy popular, especially on DK. But we're projecting Ty Jerome, and Garland to start alongside Wade, Mobley, and Jared Allen. I don't know. That would kind of surprise me. Strus might start, but either way, I think Ty Jerome is pretty interesting because he can mop up as well. I'm curious what your take is as far as the Cavs.
The Cavaliers, this is probably. Oh, you know what? If I don't have time to do it now, but if I was going to change my answer on the survey to which team you're going to be overweight on, it would be Cleveland. That's what I would change it to. With the Donovan Mitchell news, this opens up a lot for a lot of these guys. And Ty Jerome, I think, is a great play now, whether he starts or not. And I think he will start just for the fact that they probably want to keep a lot of the stuff intact, the rotations intact, and just let him go in there and plug in a starting spot for Mitchell, keep Strus coming off the bench. And Jerome can do a lot of different things on the court. So, and he's not going to score like Mitchell, obviously, but he can do a lot of the similar ball handling type stuff if you need him to. So, I think Jerome starts, and he's probably my favorite play from this game in general. And
Okay.
Garland's going to get a big bump here with Mitchell out. We get that Levert, another backcourt guy. Anytime you take Mitchell off, all the backcourt guys are going to jump up. So Levert's in that mix. But my favorite, before Ty Jerome came into play, I was looking to attack both of these bigs, maybe not in the same lineup, but both of these bigs for Cleveland against Toronto. I wanted Mobley and I wanted Allen. Allen just obliterated last night, man. Like, he crushed it. So I don't know. I don't know if he had two of those in back-to-back games in him, but I think Mobley's in it. I think both of those guys, one of those guys is going to have a big game. That's where I wanted to go. The price savings, I would probably lean towards Allen, but I think both those guys are good. So Cleveland, I'm just pretty much anybody, man, that's going to be in the top 6 or 7 in that rotation. I'm in on tonight. I like them. You're muted, Dean.
I feel like I'm gonna have a Cav in every lineup I make. Even if it's just one, even if it's just one of the cheapies like Ty Jerome. If you could tell a story on Yang, I suppose, Wade, depending on how the slate kind of falls out when it comes to cheapies. But like Jerome, Yang, Wade, all kind of interesting. Strus as well. We're giving 27 minutes to Strus, and it's weird. I feel like they're like two different people did this because we're giving 27 minutes to Strus. We're giving 20 to Jerome, and I'm hitting the refresh, and it looks like we're still expecting Jerome to start and not Strus. That doesn't make sense to me, but we'll get it all sorted out eventually, I suppose. Yeah. Your favorite cheapie? I know you kind of ran him down. Did you say it was Jerome?
Definitely Jerome is my favorite cheapie at this point in the day.
Yeah, I like him too. And like especially on DK where he's 3-3. And I don't know if he would like full-fledged mop if necessary, but he would get close to it, I think. Right? I mean, there's other guys out there that just never play, like a Craig Porter or something like that, I suppose. But I think they would give him a decent – if he gets 20 minutes like we're projecting, I feel pretty good in him, when you consider the matchup. I feel pretty good about him as a cheapie at 3-3. FanDuel at 4-4, and then that's more like broad, bigger field tournaments, a little bit more ambitious, but I like the 3-3 price on DK. The Raptors, I don't like any Raptors. You like any Raptors?
Don't like any at all. I don't have any identified that I really feel like even leaning towards playing. So, no, it'd be one of those things where it's like you fill out a lineup, you got all your guys in there, you need one more spot, and let's sort by projection and see who's the highest projected with that much salary left. And if it ends up being Scotty Barnes, Barrett, Pirtle quickly, then okay, I'll probably plug them in. But I'm not leaning towards putting any of them in my lineup right now.
All right. I'm just taking a peek at the Discord channel. Jay Swift is saying John Elway. I see what you're doing there. It's not John Elway for today's Sleep Thursday. Everybody is going this. Yeah, it's not Michael Vick, but I see what you're doing. It's not Joe Theismann or Pete Maravich or Dan Marino or Craig Biggio. Shout out to the Astros. Snowfighter saying Dave Concepcion, which is such a random name, but I appreciate it. All right. I think we're done, right? Toronto and Cleveland, moving on. Yes? Okay. Any news on Golden State? I'm guessing we don't have it, right? Nothing out there? Yeah, we have some questionable stuff here as far as Golden State, Detroit. If we don't know it, Crunch Time's going to know it when they come in about an hour or so, or at least 6:30, you'd imagine, when lineups come out. The Warriors, they're 1-point favorites here in Detroit. 221 is the total. We talked about this earlier in the year, by the way, about the Warriors like overachieving. It's starting to come to fruition. They came out really, really hot to start the season. Now, of course, they're tumbling pretty hard. They're probably somewhere in the middle, I imagine, but they never were as good as they appeared to be to start the season. Draymond, questionable. He's got an ankle. Steph has he's got a knee, so he's questionable. Moody, they gave him a patellar tendon. He's questionable. There's no Pods. There's no Wiggins. And the Demolition Man, Dennis Schroeder, he's also questionable with a hip. So a lot going on. Detroit, as healthy as they can be, we're not going to see Ivy for a while. He's out, and Asar Thompson is back. He's back with his illness. It's a lot of if-then with Golden State. I don't know what are we going to do here, Chop, as far as Golden State. How do you break this down?
Man, just the Golden State side. I mean, Trace Jackson Davis, 5K on DraftKings, and a 30-point projection. Anytime you go 30 plus, you're kind of in the mix for a roster spot at 5K. That's not bad. I'm just not in love with a lot of these guys. It's just all spread out, and they're relatively healthy. And Buddy Hyde has been terrible this year for the most part, but 3,600. You always think about GPPs and jump shooters and 3-point shooters, and you never know when it could be that day that they're hot. But he hasn't had many of them this year. But at 36,
if Steph's out, he'll look really good because you have to imagine they'll rely on him to take a bunch of shots. No promise he'll make them, but yeah.
So I don't know, man. It's just not. There's just not a lot there for me. Slow-mo maybe. These are not guys I want to play. In fact, I'm going to build one lineup tonight on DraftKings, and I'd be shocked if a Golden State Warrior made it. Even though some of the projections might be just good enough, you'd have to rerun your optimals there. They might be just good enough to end up in an optimal here or there, but I'm not doing it. So I don't like them, but I could see why some people may lean towards a couple of these guys getting a 30-plus point projection.
Yeah, I mean, TJD, you talked about Jackson Davis. He's the most popular player on Golden State, 20%. Like you said, 5K price and about a 30-point projection as a median score. And he would look even more solidified if they happen to lose Draymond. Again, I've already kind of convinced myself, of course Draymond's going to play in Michigan. Why is he not going to play here? Whatever he's managing, it doesn't seem to be terribly severe. If anything, he'll just rest tomorrow. But yeah, he's center and center only, which isn't necessarily ideal. I think he's 6K on FanDuel. Just jumping over there. But I do think he has versatility, right? Yeah, he's 6'1" on FanDuel, but he is power forward eligible. But kind of a big jump. 1K, 1-1 if you want to get all technically 6'1" over there. You can play him. Are you playing more? You said one lineup on DK. You playing more on FanDuel?
No, just one. No, I'm more focused on the football game, so I went really light on the NBA tonight.
I gotcha. Yeah, and you mentioned a bunch of guys I don't really want to play, and Golden State does their thing where a lot of dudes play between 24 and 28 minutes. And we'll see how it shakes out. They have 4 players that are questionable. Draymond, Schroeder, Curry, Moody. Again, I think most play, but I feel like at least one sits. Maybe Steph sits. And if he sits, Schroeder would look a little bit better, obviously. I think we have an if-then setup for this instead of me playing the guessing game. I know we have some if-thens set up. Yeah, if Steph is out, Hield's the guy that would jump up. We would get a 31-point projection on DK, almost 30 on FanDuel. A little more on DK because of the 3-point bonus, and that's how he's going to get there. He's got to make his buckets. TJD would get a bit of a bump. Schroeder as well. Moody, Anderson, they would all be slightly positive values as well. So hard to say right now. How about Detroit? Cunningham, one of the best studs on the slate. Is he projected for the most fantasy points of everybody? No, just by a hair. Trae Young's got him as far as raw points. It's very, very close, though. Essentially the same price. That's a good question, though. Cunningham, you like Cunningham? Do you like him more or less than Trae Young?
Oh, definitely like him more than Trae Young in a vacuum. But yeah, Cunningham's awesome, man. He can do a lot of different things. It's not an ideal matchup, but he'll be fine. He's really good at what he does, and he can probably wiggle his way into those 50-plus points pretty easy tonight. So, yeah, I like Cade Cunningham. He's pricey, but it is what it is. And Asir Thompson coming back, yeah, he's good, man. He's good. But I just
hold his minutes down and check.
That's what I was kind of worried about. I'm not sure about that, but at 4,600, I don't think you need a ton of minutes, and he does a lot of different things on the court. So I think even if he had slightly limited minutes, he could still get there pretty easily at this price tag. we don't have a ton of value right now outside of taking some shots on some Cleveland cheap guys, and that may come back to burn you. Who knows how that's all going to play out? So, we're still searching for value at this point in the night, and so he's definitely on my radar here. After those two guys, nah, I'm going to pass on that. I don't. Malik Beasley's always a threat to hit a bunch of 3-pointers. He's still 50. He hovers between 53 and 5,600 every single night for DraftKings, and that's fine when he's hitting his shots. But I'm not playing Tobias Harris. I could see a world where Jalen Duran has a decent game, but with one lineup, I'm not taking a chance on it. With 150, I may put him in some lineups, but definitely not going out of my way to do that.
Like him more if Draymond happens to sit. I would feel better about Jalen Duran. I did the old sort by point per dollar on both DK and FanDuel. The best current point per dollar play, and obviously it's a little bit easier to get there when you're cheaper, but it happens to be Ty Jerome on DK. We got like a 23-point projection for Jerome, about 7x, and it's two Cavs, back-to-back Cavs, LeVert, then there's Buddy Hield, and then there's another Cav and Yang, and there's another Warrior, and then another Warrior, Kyle Anderson, Slow-Mo, and TJD. So that's where our value is as of right now. Golden State, Cleveland. FanDuel a little bit different. The Miami guys are kind of cheap. The fringe Miami guys are pretty cheap. The best point per dollar player over there currently, not as strong, is Jaime Jaquez at 5K. Terry Rozier, Scary Terry, also at 5K. Jimmy Butler's still out for Miami. Good matchup, obviously, in Utah. Spectacular matchup in Utah. Did you catch any of that Utah-Atlanta Hawks basketball game the other night? Spectacular. Terrible, good it's one of those good, bad basketball games.
Yeah.
Walk-off from Trey.
Man, Dean, I appreciate it was good cinema, but goodness gracious. When you need overtime, like you need overtime very bad, that was just brutal. That's just a brutal beat.
My main lineup, it was in like the 100 or something like that, had 4 players in that game, and I think I finished 10th. So I could have used it. I could have used it as well. Like I appreciate it. It's like, that was a cool moment, but I wish you didn't make that shot. I wish you didn't make it. Yeah, because for real, that's like 20 points possibly. Like it's like 20
Easy.
points up for grabs.
Easily. Especially because Trey was getting hot there in the second half and things were starting to heat up. And we did that show that night. I remember I said DeAndre Hunter, man, he could do it and he could get hot 3-point line. And I think he crushed like 4 3-pointers. I had him going and could have used some extra 5 minutes there. That's for sure. And you know what?
Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, you brought up a point one time on the show about the overtime. Oh, no, it was on Twitter. 5-minute overtime in it, how stupid that is. They have to do an Elam ending, man. Do an Elam ending for overtime. That'd be perfect.
Well, imagine walk-offs and win by 2, like walk-off threes. The strategy would be spectacular. The defense would be awesome. Explain what an Elam ending for the people that don't know what that is.
Well, in the case of all the other places that do it, they play like whatever they play, 4 quarters, 3.5 quarters, and then they set a number based on whatever criteria. They set a number for the winning team. This is now the winning score has to be, like, let's say it goes, the time expires and it's 65, 60. The winning number is 75. Whoever gets to 75 first now. So it'll be based on what the score is at the time and all that, with points added on. So 75 is let's say that game ends, whatever it ends, and they say, okay, the walk-off number now is 125 or 130, whatever it is. Add the extra points onto it. So whoever reaches that number first, like you said, win by 2, gets the victory, man. It's so much better than just 5 extra arbitrary minutes.
And then 5 extra minutes for double overtime. Like, what are we doing? And back-to-backs, why are they resting? It's just like so stupid. Like it's so unnecessary. It is, and it's not like a DFS. I'm angry. I don't have those players. It's just a common sense take. The manufactured drama you'd get out of it would be so much fun. I would love it. They did it for the All-Star game. I don't know if anybody cared about the All-Star game.
It was actually one of the better endings of any All-Star game. It was creative, and I watch it every year in the TBT, where all the guys, former players, get together and play that tournament for $1 million. $1 million up top. man, those games are awesome when they end like that. So yeah,
What are
they
the
ought to do
rules?
that.
Can like anybody play in the TBT? Like could, like in theory,
Yes.
like so anybody, but like not just anybody enters, right? Can they get what kind of ringers do they get?
Anybody. You can get any ringer and whatever team you like. Most of the teams just kind of they're like guys from Michigan. This is a
Yeah,
whatever the Wolf Pack or Wolverine Pack, whatever. They'll do whatever. Colleges, former college players from all kinds of eras get together. They can do like pro players aren't going to do it because there's too much liability there with injury,
yeah.
but they could. They absolutely could if they wanted to. And so summer league guys actually, some of them do if they're not making too much money, in the summer league.
Permission from teams, I guess they
Yeah,
need.
permission. So you got to be kind of like a fringe summer league guy, but some of them do come back and play. So yeah, anybody can play. It's just yeah, your liabilities to the NBA product or overseas. A lot of guys make a lot of money overseas, and they don't want to risk that either. So, but yeah, anybody can play that stuff.
We have a total chop Minnesota, Orlando, the last of the 7:00 games, 199. One. It starts with a 1. 199. You don't see those much more these days. Minnesota at Orlando. Orlando's got a team total of 96.5. We mentioned before Banchero. They're saying, let me get the updated injury report, but last I saw, they're still saying he's questionable. But all the reports are saying he's not playing tonight. He's going to play tomorrow. Tomorrow's the I think it's against an Eastern Conference opponent. Give him one extra day. He has been conditioning a ton, though. I'm curious how much he'll play when he actually comes back. Banchero, that is. He's out. Suggs is out. Anybody named Wagner is not playing basketball tonight. Minnesota fully healthy with the exception of Dillingham. This environment's not spectacular here, Chop. Like you could always play Anthony Edwards if you want to. Sure, why not? You can always do that. Gobert is really cheap on DK still. The matchup, again, not great. Tough inside. Orlando's really good as far as protecting the paint. I don't think there's any cash plays here. Tournament takes as far as Minnesota and Orlando.
This is a catch-me-up game. The only name I would vaguely throw out there is Cole Anthony at only $5,800 on DraftKings. Still in play, even though the price did go up quite a bit. But it's okay. He's still, the guy right there. So that's the only name I could even vaguely. Like Minnesota, tough matchup. And all healthy, like you said. None of those guys jump off the page. And Orlando, I still think it's a tough matchup. Minnesota's still pretty decent defensively when they want to be, when they get Julius Randle off the court. And then I'm not a big believer in these. These guys don't excite me, man. Every time I play Goga, he doesn't really do very much. I don't want him tonight. Well, definitely can't play him tonight in this matchup. But Cole Anthony is the only one because the price tag is still somewhat cheap. But
yeah,
and we're struggling for value, like I said, right now. That could all change, man. With Steph Curry will play on Thursday, so we just lost potential value right there. Draymond will play, so yeah, we're struggling for value. So 5,800 don't look very bad right now.
Oh, wait a second. We're gonna get more on Golden State. Moody out, Curry in. Okay. What about Schroeder? Probably gonna get that one as well. I see Tim in chat as well, letting us know about Curry. Appreciate that. And yeah, just kind of I don't know if they play tomorrow, but maybe if you can get an overnight number that looks pretty good with the potential of Draymond and Steph are both sitting tomorrow. Stay tuned on that because this is the front half of a back-to-back. Let's go ahead and drop clue number 3 for the people, for yourself as well, Chop. Your guess was good, but it was not correct. Clue number 3, athlete Thursday. Retired, lucky number. Clue number 3 is yellow. Yellow is the third clue. There you go. Do with that what you will. Yellow is the third clue. I made like 10 clues, by the way. I have a whole bunch to pick from. So if we need them, I don't know if we will. We probably won't. But there you go. Yellow is your third clue. Get your guesses in the Discord. Win yourself some RotoGrinders Premium. That is the end of the 7 o'clock games. Portland, the Blazers in Dallas. Portland, the back half of a back-to-back. One of the 4 teams playing the back half tonight. They didn't work too hard last night because they absolutely shellacked New Orleans. Chop, you just nailed it. Unbelievable. Look at you. Is somebody going to get this in chat as well? Was it that easy? I didn't think it was But you
No,
just nailed it. You just nailed it,
no,
Chopper. You got the high.
that was not easy. Whoa.
Look at you.
Wow.
Wow. This is impressive. I'm impressed, Chop. I'm very impressed. Congratulations.
Yes.
Barry Bonds being guest at True North. That is incorrect, but I see what you're doing. Roberto Clemente, also see what you're doing. It's not Peyton Manning either. But there you go. Nicely done, Chopper. You're going to have a hard time composing yourself. The excitement, the high you have on winning. You just beat the entire field. You beat all of chat. So congratulations.
Well, it's not the first time I beat the chat, but yes, that was that one was a really that one was out there. That one was a needle in a haystack. I ain't gonna lie.
There you go. A process of elimination. You're figuring stuff out. Blazers are 8-point dogs against Dallas. We don't know. We don't know about Gafford. My lean is he's not playing. That's my guess. I don't know. I don't know anybody in Dallas. Luka Doncic is out, of course. Nothing new there. Kyrie Irving's still out as well. The 1-2. The prices have adjusted. I think Najee Marshall still looks pretty good. Lively will grab some more minutes, assuming that Gafford is out. I wouldn't really mess with the nonsense of like Maxi Kleber or Powell. Portland, Jeremy Grant has got to be dealing with the worst face contusion ever. He's got a face, still not playing. I hope he's going to be all right. Bible obviously is out, and Robert Williams officially questionable. I just assume that what they're doing is like, yesterday they rested Klingon. Today they're going to rest Robert Williams. Nothing official there, but that's what makes sense to me. How do you feel about the Blazers and the Mavs?
Oh man, it's so weird because the Mavs are down plenty of players. Even if Gafford were to play, they're still down backcourt guys, and Gafford's probably, like you said, probably leaning closer to doubtful. So there's a lot there, but yet I'm not finding myself really liking any of these guys at the adjusted price tags that they're at now. So Dallas is not jumping off the page to me. Obviously, if Gafford sits, I can think about Lively. He's definitely in play, but he's not jumping off the page to me. You could always take a shot on the backcourt guys. Quentin Grimes, though, is priced up. Spencer Dinwiddie at $6,500 now. Yeah, that's a big-time price tag for him. It jumped up recently for good reason, so not jumping on them. And the Portland side isn't necessarily jumping off the chart. Avia's been good. I've been playing some Simons lately. He's been crushing. The one guy, though, Dean, the one guy I've highlighted here, you probably read the survey and you probably saw this, but you forgot about it already.
No, I think Ayton.
I've highlighted Aiden.
I don't like him.
I know. And I don't like it. It doesn't feel good to say that, but just looking at like what I think could happen in this game, I think there's a path for him to double-double here, and he's only 6K. I think, Dallas they're an all right defensive team. They're not like a great rebounding team, especially if they're shorthanded in the front court. So he should grab his 10 rebounds. And how does he score? He does a lot of back to the basket stuff. Lively doesn't defend that well. Like when you look at archetype stuff, maybe that factors in Gafford being in there. So Aiden's archetype profile doesn't look good. But I think this is a tougher matchup for Lively than that would suggest. I think Aiden can score some points and grab some rebounds tonight. I kind of like him.
Yeah, I mean, my knock on it. Like, he doesn't hit threes. He doesn't get assists. He's basically a two-category guy. Like, he'll get your standard blocks for a center.
It doesn't feel good, Dean. Let me put it like that.
Yeah.
But I'm just, actually.
What is the ceiling? He's got to put up, like, 28.
Well, he's only 6K, so what do we expect to be I didn't look at SimLabs today, but you can kind of get a vague idea of what they expect a GPP cashing or GPP contending lineup to look like as far as points scored. So what do we need on a 7-game slate with minimal value? I don't know. What do we need? 180 points, 190 points, maybe? Like, he's only 6K. I don't know. Like, it's not like he can grab you 40 points tonight, I think. I think you'd be more than happy with that at 6K.
I just ran 20 lineups on SimLabs. Let's see. They have 273 is the top score. The first one I got.
You're doing some SimLabs. Well, I was
Yeah.
looking at. I look at the SimLabs that front page where it says. I got to pull it up now because you got me into it now. The front page where we're looking at optimals and stuff like that.
Oh, you're talking about percentage-wise, like the
Oh yeah,
chance
yeah.
of
Okay, I'm
winning.
sorry. I was looking at football the other day. I got football confused with basketball. So yeah, we're
Your
looking
number's
at
too low. I was
two
confused by your number.
so 275 ish. Let's say 270 and at 6K. What is that? Not even like four and a half times. He can do that, man, and I think he'd feel pretty good with that.
Anything else of note here? Portland, Dallas.
Nah, let's move on to the good stuff.
All
We
right.
need the people need another clue, man. I can't. The people need another
Okay.
clue.
Yeah. All right. We'll give them another clue. Clue number 1 was retired. Lucky number yellow. Clue number 4 is Dodge. That's clue number 4. Clue number 4 is Dodge. It's not Andrew Luck. I see Russo is saying Larry Bird. It's not Larry Bird. Not Nate Archibald or Reggie Miller as well, or Juwan Howard. We do have a winner, so that clue got somebody somewhere. So we'll go ahead. We'll play it out. We'll give the last couple clues just for fun. It's not Jerome Bettis. I see what you're doing there with Bettis. It's not Arnold Palmer either, but we do have a winner in chat. Shout out to True North. True North 79 knows what we're talking about. Okay, your Rockets. Your Rockets are in Memphis. 232.5 is a total. It's high and it's tight, despite the fact that these are two good defensive teams. We're looking at a 232.5 total. Memphis, as of right now, is a 1-point favorite. Looking to see if we have any news. I don't think we do. Yeah, it's tough sledding here as far as figuring out what the Grizz are going to do. Santi Aldoma's questionable. I think he's got an ankle. Desmond Bane's got an ankle, so he's questionable. Triple J, he's got a thigh. He's played a lot of minutes. He's questionable. Ja Morant's questionable with an AC joint sprain. Marcus Smart obviously still out. Gigi Jackson still out. Vince Williams still out. Are we getting news now? I'm getting notifications.
Schroeder is in.
Okay. All right. So Warriors basically full go with the exception of Moody. Right? Well, Kuminga's out too. But yeah, Kuminga and Moody. I don't know how much that's going to change projections. But Moody being out, not much, I would imagine. We'll see. We'll circle back. But yeah, do your best here, Chop, as far as Memphis, because it's tough. I mean, if everybody's in, Triple J is essentially unplayable because of how well he did. His price is now baked up. Like, there's no chance. You just can't do it. But it's a lot of if-then stuff. Do you want to knock out Memphis first? Their top 4 players, projection-wise, all questionable. So it's a lot of fun to figure it out right now.
Yeah, I'd be shocked if they sat out. I think it's a relatively fun game and important. I don't want to say important, man. Twisting
as important as they get.
Yeah, you are talking about, believe it or not, 2 of the top 3 seeds, I believe, in the Western Conference right now, and you don't want to drop down. And both these guys have ambition to make it into the playoffs and maybe even get a home court advantage in the first round type of thing. So they want to win. So I'd be surprised. Oh, Gafford is available to play Thursday. So
that's surprising.
We can mark off Lively. I didn't like Dallas anyway.
I was wrong on that one.
But yeah, Jaren Jackson at 96. Man, I just can't go there. Can't go there. Ja Morant at 90, 91 is a bit tough too. So like you said, Memphis is not the side here for me to play around with. But I think it is a competitive game. It is a good spread. Like you said, it's a tight spread and a higher total. So if you wanted to GPP some of these guys, you could. But, I mean, I'm not on them.
2 of the top 5 defenses. Memphis, of course, a top 5 offense. Houston, number 10 as far as offense. The other thing is Memphis plays at the league's fastest pace now. So, yeah, playing up in pace there for the Rockets. And, man, I feel like every single time Amen Thompson, the Rockets, I just gloat about him. But the ceiling is the roof for this guy. I mean, he looks awesome. He's still, 22, right? He's going to be getting better.
He might
defensively.
21 or 22.
Yeah, he's still What are we opening up packs right now? What are we doing?
Just a little Trident, brother.
Okay.
Yeah, I got a little bit of a scratchy throat. I'm gonna get some Trident.
It sounds like you're up like a wax pack or something like that back in the day.
Dude.
Used to rip packs.
Are you? Oh God, they're so addicting. Did you ever do it?
I mean, when I was younger, I used to like have my own table of shows. Yeah, I had my own. Yeah, I love it.
Chasing the big card in the pack. Oh, so addicting.
Oh, it's a good time for sure. Do you watch the guys like on YouTube or I guess TikTok or whatever? You watch them open up stuff? Is that something you're into?
I'll watch the highlights when something pops on the timeline that somebody got something good. I'm always intrigued. I used to you know how I forget what the term is for it when those guys are opening packs for other people who sent in money, and all that.
Yeah, you get a piece of it, like a share of it.
Yeah, I've done that before for sure, and then sat down and watched them open the stuff up. That's always fun if you want to get into that. But yeah, it's fun stuff, man.
Yeah, they have like breakers. There you go. The negative creep is telling up. Yeah, breaks. That's what you're talking about. And also, worth noting, Jabari Smith, of course, still out for Houston. I guess not officially ruled out, but I would be shocked if Tari Eason played. Reed Shepard in the G League, right? So Ivan Thompson, I don't think the price is fully adjusted. At least not on. I don't think it's fully adjusted just yet. And I think there's still some meat in that bone, especially. You can't project he's going to play 39 minutes. You just can't do that. The projection team. I'm not on the projection team, but that's a medium projection. But he's played 39 minutes in 3 of the last 4 games. They are really pushing him hard. Excellent defensively. Memphis also giving up a fair bit of blocks and steals. I always kind of look at that for players like Amen. I think they're both 8th most. We'll talk that category. We'll put that in our back pocket because later on there is a team that gives up the most steals and the most blocks on this slate, which we'll talk about. But yeah, how do you feel about the Rockets? Are we going right back to Amen?
Yeah, I mean, the guys who are injured and out tonight are just happen to be a very similar, I want to say position. Everything's kind of positionless, but archetype to Amen Thompson, Tari Eason and Jabari Smith to a certain extent. So, yeah, that's why he's going to get these minutes. And like you said, I think it's even higher than the projection, especially in a game like this that should stay close. He's 500 more than he was last game, but I still think there's meat on that bone right now because he just has that upside. He just fills up the stat sheet everywhere. We always like stuff like that. Other than him, I think I like a lot of these guys just because of the game script here, the game flow, the way it should be. I think Dylan Brooks is in play, Şengün's in play, Van Vliet always going to be projected way above his salary. I saw a question in chat. Cam Whitmore, ? That's the one I'd be a little leery of, especially if it's a tight game and he doesn't get any garbage time minutes. I'd be a little bit leery of that, but cheap enough price, I guess, if you felt like, you could go for it. Maybe somebody else gets in foul trouble and he gets a little bit extra run. But the guy I want to bring up, Dean, is Jalen Green.
Yeah, you wrote about him in the survey as well. I read what you wrote.
He's just it's incremental as far as the numbers, but incrementally he is a better player with Jabari Smith off the court, and when he's on the court, it's just a small bump up. He's a slightly higher usage rate, slightly higher rebound rate, slightly higher assist rate, and my guess is that a lot of it comes because Amen Thompson soaks up those minutes. He's an extra ball handler. Gets Jalen Green out of that role, gets him a little more off the ball, cutting to the rim, stuff like that. Just a little bit things that make it a little bit easier on him. So I think as long as these guys are out, Jalen Green also gets the next biggest bump after Amen Thompson. And so I like Jalen Green. And Jalen Green is $600 cheaper than Amen Thompson. That's how excellent Thompson's been. He's surpassed him. Jalen Green, I think, is still too cheap for this game environment. I think he has a path for 40-plus points here. Not real-life points, fantasy points.
I mean, what I'm going to say. I like Thompson more because he has more routes. He has more ways to get there.
100% agree with that. But I just what's the I didn't update the ownership. What's the ownership say about that?
Let's go ahead and give it a refresh. But I gave it a refresh with Moody out. And maybe this kind of speaks to how thin some of the value stuff is, I'm seeing Buddy Hield and Lindy Waters hit lineups on DK, where they're both like 3K. 3-1 for Waters, 3-6 for Hield, but especially Waters, that feels really thin. That feels really thin to me. Hield, he's got to get on fire, but he's got to make some threes, which is possible. But let's see. Most recent update as far as I'm in, 38% on DK. He's 7-1 there. I think he's 8K on FanDuel. Of course, stocks count for more, and that's when he really gets there. Awesome defensive player. 40% on FanDuel where he's 7-9. So, by the way, somebody in chat saying Ahmed not starting. That's not correct. I don't know why you would say that. First of all, their lineup's not out, but there's no reason to think he's not starting. Unless I missed something. Ahmed starting, right?
I mean, this I don't know if so. I know what the name stands for in his thing right there. I know what he's trying to say. So politely, I'm just going to call him Gofuse. Gofuse has been doing the whole starting thing since we started the show, so I'm not sure.
It's a bit.
Yeah, I'm not sure he has any inside knowledge there.
Okay, he's got inside knowledge at every stadium tonight, apparently, but maybe he's just having fun. I fell for it. Yeah. Şengün's not going to get played. Just throwing it out there. I don't think I'm going to get there. It's just, if he has one of those games, so be it. And the Memphis stuff, stay tuned. As of right now, nothing really to be thrilled about. If Ja plays, I don't think I'm going to be there as well. Triple J, if everybody plays, is kind of unplayable because the price is just based upon how well he did in the absence of others. Now they're all back, so he'll eat less. We shall move on. Let's see. There's two more games, about 20 minutes or so. There are some questions popping up in chat as well. Happy to answer some questions because, again, we're going to have the time. 585 says, what do you guys think about Rozier? We'll talk about him soon. We're getting there. We'll talk about Rozier in a second. I did see another question, and I think Dex wants to know Jared Allen or Ayton at center on DK. You talked about both those guys. Who do you prefer amongst those two?
Wow, on DK, I get $400 difference. I'm going Allen. It's not enough price separation. There's a big ownership gap though. So if you're in a super large field, you could take a chance. But just on the surface, I'm playing one lineup tonight, and that's my decision to make. I'm going Jared Allen. Sorry, Aiden. I do appreciate your game tonight. I think you have potential, but 400 is not a big enough of a salary gap on that one.
The other thing is I just don't trust this Portland organization. We saw it a couple days ago where Ayton had a questionable tag for rest on an island game. I don't know if you saw that, Chop. They corrected it. I don't know if the league said hey, what are you doing? You're full take mode already. With the whole thing that they're doing with Jeremy Grant and his laceration in his face, I didn't see it. Maybe it's really severe, but he's been out for how many games now with a face? I don't know. I just don't trust them. Is basically, and sometimes maybe it's wrong to just sort of look at it that way. And we've seen games where he just kind of disappears, Ayton, and just kind of loses minutes. Anyways, we'll move forward. There's two more games to go. I think Miami is next, right? Yes. My Miami Heat in Utah. 222 is the total. They are favored. They're favored to win by 5 points or so. Jimmy Butler, of course, is still suspended. He's not playing basketball tonight. Probably, maybe not ever playing a game for the Heat again. We'll see if everybody had their druthers. Tyler Hero, they're saying he's officially available with his knee contusion. Kevin Love is out for personal reasons. Drew Smith out for the season, right? And Josh Richardson, did he get an update? I thought I saw him pop out with an update. Not that it really matters. Last I saw, he is questionable. For Utah, they're still missing dudes. No Clarkson, speaking of tanking. No Clarkson, no John Collins, no Keontae George. Senzabal is not feeling well. It's funny they always put Sexton as available. They keep doing that on the injury report, but Sexton is available. Yeah, and this is also kind of depending on where you're shopping. I kind of mentioned before, Miami looks pretty good on FanDuel. Well, I should be specific. Hero looks really good on FanDuel at 8-1. I think that's a really good price. Yeah. Jaquez at 5K looks really good. Rozier looks really good. On DK, they're more tournament stuff. Bam Adebayo looks pretty interesting as well. I mentioned before, Chop, the team that gives up the most steals and the most opponent blocks, it's the Utah Jazz. So I did bet Bam Adebayo over 2.5 stocks earlier today. So there you go. Then we can root for that one. We got there last time with the Great Barrier Thief. We talked about it with Atlanta. He got I think 4 or 5. We had to get over 3.5, I believe. I just keep betting these against the Jazz and done pretty well with them. How do you feel about the Heat and Utah?
Okay, the Utah side against Miami. Colin Sexton is still in play at 6,700. He's getting up there, but I think he's still in play. I think in this matchup, Walker Kessler is in play slightly. Lauri Markkanen is always a threat in GPPs, not a cash game play, I don't believe, at this price tag. That's it. I'm not playing Johnny Jazang or Isaiah Collier, Filipowski, or I'll pass on those guys. Jazang, by the way, boy, I thought he was going to be good.
Yeah.
After his first year or so at UCLA, I don't know what happened. He just kept going back to school for some reason. He never turned pro, and I guess we know why, because I guess he just wasn't all that equipped for the pro game. So
he was a lottery pick, right, or close to?
I don't think he was. I think he left school too late. I think after his first year, he led his team to the Final Four, and he was awesome. And I thought, oh, he's coming out. He never did. Kept going to school, and it just went backwards from there. That was his peak. That was his peak.
Undrafted. Never mind.
Yeah.
It wasn't even drafted.
So not really into all that, but Sexton and Kessler, Markkanen, okay. You twist my arm and go into GPP. For Miami, I think Jaquez at 5,300 is in play in the matchup. Bam has that defense versus archetype. I want to say he's the number 1 rated guy tonight, so he's got that going for him. He's certainly in play. Like you said, okay, Terry Rozier, no thank you. I'm going to pass on Terry. You said the Tyler Hero. You hit it on the head with the salary difference between the two sites. You can play him in DFS on FanDuel. It's tougher on DraftKings, even though I still like him. I still think there's a path for him tonight a lot. But at 9K, I would almost say, let me go ahead and go to one of the prop sites and bet the over in 3-pointers on him. Because if he's going to have a big game in DFS, a decent game, he's going to do it through the 3-point shot. And to be honest with you, I think at 9K, I'd rather take that route of over 3-point shots than roster him at 9K. And I think, I think it all works out like that. I think that's a good way to hedge things these days. It's a fun way to do it. But I like Hero in a vacuum at 9K is a bit much, but I do think there's something about his matchup tonight that screams that he's gonna hit some good. He's gonna have a good shot at some 3-point shots.
I'll tell you what it is. The Jazz give up the 4th most made 3-pointers on the season, and Hero has the 4th most made threes in the league. I think 3.8 per game.
We talked about it. He changed his game in the offseason, man. He stopped that mid-range garbage, and now he's taking threes and getting to the rim, and it's made him not just a serviceable player, Dean. It's made him like a guy you can actually want to target at the trade deadline, to be honest with you.
He might be the best player in Miami, I guess. I mean, in a season of turmoil and a season of, the other guys, the constant rotation changes amongst, Jovic and Robinson and Highsmith and Rozier and the way they're minutes. He's the one constant. Him and Bam are the 2 constants, I suppose. And we'll see where the whole Khalil Ware thing happens, how that develops going forward. But they basically refuse to play those guys together. Ware has shown some flashes. If we ever get Bam sitting, Ware's going to be interesting. He's gonna pop everywhere. But Bam just plays basically every single game. Sam Merrill in, which is kind of surprising, but okay. Merrill is in tonight for Cleveland. I thought he might sit on the back half of back-to-back and being slightly dinged in that game being a scheduled blowout. 15-point favorites there. All right. I saw some other questions in chat. We still have 15 minutes till crunch time comes. We have one more game to talk about, so we got plenty of time. Did we give just for playing out the string, we give out cheats? We gave out cheat, right? I think so.
We did not give that out, but you can. Now that one might just get some people in the right direction, right?
I'll just run off the other clues I had. Retired, lucky number, yellow, Dodge, cheat, Texas, Oprah, blood, powerful, cycle. Cycle was trying to throw people off because they might think one thing when it very clearly means something else. All right. So if you don't know what we're talking about, you probably know by now. Lord King Guru says, is that slow-mo? Any love for Anderson with Wiggins and Kuminga out? I don't think love is the word we'd use, right? I'm willing to acknowledge the existence of, right?
Oh, Mr. Richard got it. Yeah. Mr. Richard got good one, Mr. Richard. Yep. The cycle that would really give it away right there.
Well, you could think it's something else, but yeah.
It is a double entendre.
Yeah.
Any love for probably, yeah, love is a weird word. He's there. I usually don't play him even in circumstances like this. I usually think there's better ways to go about it, but you can play him if you want. I'm not so like if you say, hey man, you got any love for Isaiah Collier tonight? We're talking about Utah. I'd say, oh no. Hard pass. Hard pass. I won't say that with Kyle Anderson. I'll say, okay, he's still in play. I don't love it, but he's still in play. Not like a lot of these guys who are a hard pass.
Mr. Nasty, you got to answer Mr. Nasty's question. What is the favorite spend up high dollar play on DK? What's interesting is like we don't have, the Joker or Wemby or Giannis. The biggest number we have as far as projection is 50, 51 for Trae Young and Cunningham right there. That's where we stop, right? As far as raw points. Who would you say is your favorite big spend?
I mean, well, first of all, we haven't talked about the last game, so there's a couple guys. There's a couple guys in that game that could contend for this spot, but Cade Cunningham would definitely be the guy.
Yeah, I think the last game is actually really interesting. We'll talk about that. Well, more questions coming on through. We got crunch time coming in about 10 minutes or so as well. Do hit that like button. Do subscribe. Do turn on those notifications. Do votes. You vote in our poll. Where are we at currently as far as our poll? We have 121 votes. 55% said Notre Dame's going to win. 45% say Penn State wins tonight. By the way, you see some of the bells, some of the whistles are showing off there. Producer Steve showing off on the screen. If you want to get yourself some RG combo, some RG premium, RG combo pro $79.99 for your first month. That's just $15 more than PGA premium, $5 more than NBA premium. You can get those a la carte if you want, but it's just a little bit more to get all the sports: football, baseball, basketball, hockey, everything you think of, with the exception of NASCAR, of course, a la carte. Do want to mention Splash. Chop is talking about hedging on different sites. You want to take your over on Hero 3s, things of that sort, as opposed to paying $9K for them in DFS. Well, use promo code ROTO10 on Splash. When you play $100 in Quick Picks, you'll get another $50. All right, last game, Atlanta, Phoenix, 237.5. It's definitely high. It's reasonably tight. Atlanta is about a 7-point dog here in Phoenix. We did get a midday downgrade for Bogdanovich. Bogdanovich is questionable now. What was the body part they gave him? Was it a leg? They gave him a knee. Yeah, that's what I figured. Of course, Nance is out. Okongwu is questionable. He's got a face. I assume he plays. Jalen Johnson, that's a big one. He's out as well. And they'd be really thin as far as bigs if they happen to lose Okongwu. I don't know what they would. I guess Barlow would get dusted off, I suppose. I wouldn't say to play Barlow. Maybe Capello gets a few more minutes, but sometimes they would play Nance as like the small ball 5 or Jalen Johnson, but both those options not really available, and really there wouldn't be much left unless maybe you get Durant playing some small ball 5 on the other side because Phoenix or Oso. Plumlee's not really looking like a great matchup. He probably starts. Same deal with Nurkic. I wouldn't play either one of those. But we've seen it's kind of a mess there when it comes to the centers in Phoenix. As far as the Suns, they're pretty clean, Chop. It's just Royce O'Neal. Royce O'Neal is not available. They're still running with Dunn starting and Plumlee. I assume that's going to be the case going forward. How do we feel about the Hawks and the Suns?
Yeah. So I'll talk about the game in just a second. I do want to say something real quick, which is we've got about an hour and 20 minutes
Yeah.
until the college football game kicks off and locks on DraftKings. If you're into overlay, they ran a huge thing, and it's not even half. It's barely half full right now.
Where's it at, TK?
DK, 300K, 100K up top. I think they mispriced the entry fee at 25. I think people are more comfortable at $10 to $15. 25 was a little bit too much, so it's only at about halfway full right now with an hour. I just don't think it fills up. So if you guys are into overlay hunting, you can knock out a few entries there if you want to. But
One player? Can you give me like one player you like more based on everything, all things considered, or you haven't dug into it yet?
Well, it's just it's a showdown, so there's a lot of chalk out there. But I would say the one guy that really jumps to me is Tyler Warren, Penn State tight end. I think he's playable in flex or captain. He's the best tight end in the country, and I think that's how they attack Notre Dame tonight is via the passing game. So Tyler Warren stands out to me.
It's 100K up top, Chop. I don't like this.
I hate it too, and but I'm just looking at the overlay. Like if
30% up top, yeah,
if it's too much, I mean, you could make up for that by this thing not even, leaving like 4K entries on the table. That would help.
Yeah.
But so it's there, guys. If you want to get into it, I think tomorrow you'll be looking at a showdown that's a showdown.
Yeah.
It's not the 2 game slate. Tomorrow's showdown, they'll probably bring that thing down a little bit. But I would say Atlanta, Trae Young this is a good game. It's a tight spread, high total. Trae Young's in play. We'll see about the questionable guys. Dyson Daniels in play. DeAndre Hunter is fine. Trae Young definitely a guy I would want to do like a little mini stack with if I'm doing that. But it's the Phoenix side I'd be more interested in. We talked about it all year about Atlanta's propensity for giving up 3-pointers, and you've got a couple of the more prolific 3-point shooters in the NBA here. Devin Booker's going to take a lot of them, and he's very good at it. And Kevin Durant's going to take not quite as many, but he's obviously very good at them. And Durant kind of catches up to Booker in the fact that he does other things like rebound also very effectively. So I think they're both. Those two guys right there, Booker and Durant are like.
Who does Daniels cover? Is Daniels on Booker, or is he on Durant? I assume.
Oh, he's not on Durant. There's no way. I mean, Durant. Okay. I don't think you could. You would probably waste him on Durant. Like,
so you throwing Ricochet or Krejci on KD?
Well, then who are you going to put on Booker?
Well, I'm saying you got Daniels on Booker.
Oh, yeah. Well, I thought you were meaning it sarcastically. Oh, well.
No. Yeah, I'm thinking like now. So I'm just trying to figure out.
Yeah. No. I think one of those two guys, Durant or Booker, I think really goes off. Definitely. That's definitely my.
One that Daniels is not on is I like better. Like I'm not saying you can't overcome it, but.
And who knows? Who knows about all that stuff? But yeah, I like those guys, man. Those we talked about high spend up earlier, and I said Cade Cunningham next after that is one of these two guys, and I like them both equally. Like I like them both a lot. So Durant or Booker is definitely in that mix for me tonight. But yeah, Atlanta's just going to give up a lot of threes. These guys are going to hit some and do other things too. Should be a good game environment. After that, I'm probably check out on Phoenix. Certainly don't want Bradley Beal right now. He probably won't be there much longer if somebody's willing to take that contract. Don't want Nurkic coming off the bench or Tyus Jones is okay. I think it's a good game environment. Maybe he gets things done, but it's Durant. Yeah, it's Durant and Booker is the big takeaways from this game for me.
Yeah, that's where I'm at as well. And they mentioned Hunter. When Hunter comes in, Hunter would take Durant. That makes sense. And then Daniels would take Booker. Yeah, I was trying to figure out. I think it's a game stack's kind of interesting. The problem is just I like KD. Booker, I'm fine with. I like both. Slightly more on KD. And then Trae, but just it's hard. It's really, really hard to, all of a sudden that's a lot of salary. And I guess there's some cheap stuff out there, but you're going to have to rely on some gross stuff. I expect Okongwu to play. You're not going to know this. He's 4'5". I think he's kind of interesting. Don't mind him. Capella 5'1". I'd like him a little bit more if you thought Okongwu wasn't going to play. We don't know this. No clarity on that just yet. Let's see. There's Dex wants to know, we think Draymond's going to show out in Michigan tonight. I think he's fine. He's done this a lot. He's played a lot of games in Michigan, right? I know that factors in for you. A hometown game for him.
Yeah, I think it means something.
It still does, I suppose. Derek wants to know if Hunter is playable if he doesn't start. That's your guy.
I mean, he didn't.
He never starts, right?
Yeah, he never starts. You're just looking for matchups with him, and it's not a terrible matchup.
And he probably closes. Like it's just my issue with him is like his salary is all the way up to 6-7 now. Like I know situations have changed. Obviously there's no Jalen Johnson, and Bogey may or may not play. It's just you're catching him at his highest price essentially for the season. And you mentioned the threes, by the way. Atlanta gives the most made threes per game in the association. One more than everybody else, at least one more. The next worst team, it's at 15.5. I think Washington, Sacramento, Utah are about 14.5. Let's see if there's anything else going on. Yeah, they're asking about Okongwu. Yeah, he's officially questionable. Anything else we should mention? Circle back. Do you run any Sims stuff? I know you talked about the Sims. Wanted to see who was popping there. Did not get a chance to run that. I did pull it up. So optimal versus projected ownership, and a lot of times this is inverse of ownership, right? It's hard to get over on that when you're going to be super popular, but it does like Tyler Hero. I think that's what you were talking about before. We have Tyler Hero, and again, he's not going to be owned. This is DK, to be clear. He'll be more owned on FanDuel, just the way the pricing works. Also, producer Steve is telling us we have twice as many votes in the poll than we do have likes. We have 69 likes, that's not nice. 69. That's not spectacular. That's all the likes we have. That's unfortunate. Maybe we'll get some more as crunch time comes in here shortly. 142 votes, and it's holding strong there. Notre Dame is 56% to Penn State's 44%. Chop, who's breaking the slate?
So real quick. Yeah. Buddy, friend of the program, Carolina guy, talking about FanDuel.
Yeah.
And so I looked it up for him real quick. FanDuel low-owned stud.
Yeah, did I miss this question? Yeah, what do you got?
You can get Cade Cunningham pretty darn low-owned on FanDuel tonight, or low enough compared relative to everybody else. But, boy, I'm shocked at our ownership projection on Anthony Edwards only being in the 1% range. Anthony Edwards is really good. So
I mean, it shouldn't be that low, but, like, I get why it is.
Yeah. So, I mean, at that percent, if we're talking large field, let's go for Anthony Edwards there. You just never know. I hate the matchup, but you never know. Okay, going to break the slate, the big stud. So many to choose from, Dean. I love the Cavaliers bigs tonight. Maybe that gets there. I love the outside game from Booker Durant tonight. I've said Tyler Heroes on the, lots of good stuff here. But I've put it out there. Now I've got to stick with my guy, Jalen Green. I think he gets a big bump just aesthetically with Jabari not playing, and I think it helps his game all around. So I'm going to go Jalen Green at this price tag.
Robert Williams, by the way, as we talked about, he's not playing. He played yesterday, not going to play today. Portland's got 3 centers with Ayton and the rookie Klingon, Robert Williams. At some point, they're going to try to move him. We'll see. They should have. Remember, he had like that stretch of like 3 or 4 games where he was amazing. That's when they should have moved him. I don't know if anybody was knocking on the door, but yeah. Sometimes these teams they don't act accordingly. News we're waiting on. When are we getting this? Memphis has like the worst beat writers. I think known to have like the worst beat writers. So I don't know if we're going to get that. But that's really important. So consider that, I suppose. But I also kind of expect everybody to play for Memphis. You talked about the standings. They're fighting 2 and 3. Rockets are 24-12. Memphis 24-13. They're both right behind. I shouldn't say right behind. They're 6 games behind OKC. OKC running away early. Yeah, I bet the Spurs the other day at like 4-1 or something to make the playoffs. How do you feel about that, Chop?
I mean, I'd feel pretty darn good about it right now, just because some of these teams that I thought were really good in the Western Conference are kind of imploding. So it's not as strong as I thought it was going to be. So I think that, and I said it last year, man. Just put some semblance of a decent team around Wemby in the next few years, and they're going to be very difficult to stop. They could be next year's Cleveland Cavaliers.
Maybe they trade for somebody now. I don't know. Maybe we'll have in the offseason. We'll see. Maybe they'll try to upgrade their team. Blackman is asking Green, Anthony, or Quickly FanDuel tournaments. I'm assuming I think I know who you're going to say. Yeah, you're going to say Green, right?
From those guys, yeah, for sure.
Brooks Revenge. We forgot about the Dylan Brooks Revenge. He's going to take one extra shot. Really vengeful shot.
Either that or he's going to be so animated that he's going to get ejected in the first quarter because he's a hothead.
Yeah, I don't like to bring up. I don't like to bring up Dylan Brooks to you.
Yeah, let's not talk about Dylan.
your history. Is there somebody that let's do the expert survey as we wait for the crunch time guys to show up. Who's the player you're most afraid of not having? That, like, for whatever reason, probably not going to make your build. You think they're great, but salary reasons, just build reasons. Who's the player you're afraid it's just not going to be in your lineup that's going to beat you?
Okay, so I don't know what I put on there earlier, but obviously things change throughout the day. So I would say at this point, I'm probably going to be under the field in the ownership projection, if I'm judging it by that. I won't have Trae Young in there, so that's kind of scary. I don't think, as much as I like Kevin Durant, he's probably not going to make my build. So it might be Durant, but Durant or Trae Young from that game could be awesome. And I just don't know with the way things are shaking out in a one lineup build. I don't know if anybody from that game makes it.
The player you said, incidentally, Bam Adebayo.
And that might, yeah. But okay, so I'm definitely fearful of being underweight on him, and I don't think I'll have him, so I still stick to that. But I just looking at as the ownership has evolved throughout the day, projected ownership, he doesn't look as highly owned as he did earlier in the day for some reason. So I'm just kind of looking at the higher owned guys that, man, if Durant at 30% goes off, I'm in trouble. I'm in big trouble.
Get ready for Chalk LeVert. Garland,
okay.
LeVert, Wade, Mobley, Allen. Those are your starters. LeVert at 4-1 on DK. I kind of like him like second unit,
This is still good for us, Dean. If we're Ty Jerome guys, this is actually might be the best news, to be honest.
Is Jerome going to run the second unit?
Not only that, he's going to see the court throughout the game. Like, he's going to be there in the valuable minutes too. Like, they're not just going to. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
That drives down his ownership and gets him in, and that pretty much ensures that if the game is a blowout, which it could be, he's definitely going to be the guy now at the end of the game.
We had 24 projected minutes for LeVert. I'm going to guess that jumps to like 27. I don't know. Maybe 28. Going to be more than 24, though, I think, as far as a median projection. Yeah, we were talking about either Strus or Jerome, one of those two starting, and neither of those guys are starting. How do you feel about the fringe Cav guys versus the Warrior Cav guys? Like, Jerome, Strus, Niang.
No-brainer. It's a no-brainer. I don't like the Warriors in general, so the fringe guys don't do much for me. Definitely the Cavs guys.
All right, crunch time is here. We got Taylor Smith. We have Kirkwood, Kirkdiese, leader of the Juggalo Nation, as well as chief mineralogist Kevin Roth. Let's go ahead. Let's bring him on. It's crunch time. What's up, boys? What's up, Kirkwood? Taylor, Roth, how are things?
Things are good.
Good.
Everybody good?
Also good.
What was that, Taylor?
Also good. I was agreeing. I am also good.
Unanimous. Spectacular. Good weather tonight in Miami, Roth. I'm sure people are asking. We're good to go as far as Notre Dame. And
sure.
No issues, right?
Yeah, I feel like if there were issues, I'd have known about it. So, yeah,
Okay.
I think we're good. Yeah.
Okay, no worries. Just one of the people are excited. People are excited about that. By the way, Memphis news is coming in right now. The Memphis news, nothing official, but on track. We're getting the old on track to play for Desmond Bane. Triple J also on track to play, and I imagine the rest of the Memphis stuff will come sprinkling on through. And Bruce Brown, big deal. Bruce Brown is going to sit down, not playing basketball tonight. Not a big deal for Toronto. Chop, you got anything for crunch time before you step aside and get out of here?
Nah, we're out. Let's get it.
That was Head Chopper. I was Dean. Roth, take it away.
Good stuff. As always, welcome to it. Ladies and gents, you know the drill. It's crunch time. Two of the sharpest minds in the biz. Repping from opposite coasts here. We got my guy, Chris Kirkwood, repping Boston, Beantown, South Side, South Shore. What's up? He's a Southie. Any of those things accurate or no?
Are you lubricated tonight? Are you all right?
I'm not. I don't know. No, I'm not. Is that true?
No.
Are you a Southie?
No, I'm not. I'm not a Southie guy.
I don't know
what
what
you're talking about. It's basically the people who grew up here, probably poor sections used to be, and now it's kind of gentrified area. It's all Boston, but that's where you find a lot of the guys you're looking for. Not me.
Okay. I didn't expect to get a history lesson from that, but I'm glad I did. Thank you. A little geography lesson, socioeconomics of the Boston area. Thank you, Kirkwood. How are you, man?
I'm doing all right. Just trying to grind away here. We got NBA. We got some college football. Big game tonight. You going to watch that at all, too?
I truly don't care about college football, like to an astonishing degree. I kind of care about Texas. Are they playing tonight or no?
No, they play tomorrow.
Yeah, I kind of care because I just want Arch Manning to come in and do some heroic shit, and that's the only reason I care.
Yeah, he should come in. The court, he's better than the court Ewers or whatever.
I think so.
I don't understand it. But,
yeah. Anyways, no, I will not be watching. But shout out to everyone who is. I realize a lot of people do love college football. We also have Taylor Smith in the house, who, if I'm not mistaken, is in SoCal. Am I making that up? You're in Southern California.
You're
right?
not making that up. Yeah.
Okay, you doing all right? We got the wildfires like burning down half of LA.
Yeah, it's not great. Pretty windy today also, of course. So super dry, super windy, but so far good around here. Hopefully that will continue. If you see me leave during the show, I'm probably dead. So just beware of that.
I got to be honest. They give you these instructions to evacuate, and you basically have minutes to pack your shit and go. So hopefully you already have all of your stuff packed up.
We do. Yeah. We packed the bag and all that just in case, but you never know.
It's pretty wild how fast, you think you're fine and your neighborhood is good. And then an ember floats 5 miles from another fire and lands in your neighborhood and boom, it's on.
I just want to say, get this on record. Joe Rogan called this. He knew it was coming. Did you see that at all? The clip on
I didn't click it because I figured it was BS. But maybe
he basically called it. Well, he said someone told him that this happened like 6 months ago.
All right. Well, now that I've gotten some endorsement of that, perhaps I'll go watch the clip. Anyways, let's dive into the content, guys. We do have a big NBA slate on tap for us and some news. We got some stuff going down. So Taylor, why don't you break down the news that has happened and perhaps the news we are still waiting for?
Yeah, there's not a lot of outstanding news left. Thankfully, we just kind of got the Memphis stuff. I think Morant is questionable, but that's not really a huge thing either way, I don't think, since they're kind of healthy otherwise. We got some Warriors stuff. They're missing quite a few rotation pieces. Bogdanovic is questionable for Atlanta. Okongwu as well. The Cavs are resting Donovan Mitchell. That's one of the bigger ones on the slate. Kind of a weird one to navigate because they might limit minutes for the other guys anyway. So it's a tough slate. There's a lot of value, but there's not a lot of great stuff to pay up for. So it's going to kind of congregate, I think, around these Phoenix guys, some Houston guys perhaps, and then maybe Trae Young or someone like that.
Okay, good notes. Well, let's dive into it. We like to start on FanDuel. Kirkwood, you get to lead us off with some FanDuel talk. And if you don't mind, starting us off with the old point guard spot.
All right. Point guard position. So we do Colin Sexton looks like a good play. Going to be popular, but seeing great minutes. He's only 6,500. That game, Utah. As long as if they're in close game, which maybe that could happen tonight, then he could crush, but there's always a little risk there. Utah is so bad at times, but it's a good game for the other side for the Heat for sure. Best matchup you could probably get for a lot of these guys. So I think Tyler Hero is definitely in play. Even like Terry Rozier is starting to come on a little bit. He's starting to get a little bit more minutes. He's starting to get a little more comfortable in the offense. Jimmy Butler's been out and will remain out. But who else is? I'm just trying to think something else. Who else is out in this game?
Drew Smith.
Yeah,
Maybe
that
Pistons,
that doesn't matter. Anyways, it's a good spot for these Heat guys. Bam probably has the worst matchup and is probably going to get a lot of ownership tonight. He's coming off of two good games, depending on the site. But I know he projects pretty well on FanDuel, so I like the fade at him against Walker Kessler, and just play any of these guys who you think can put up points, like Tyler Hero, Terry Rozier, or Jaquez. All look like pretty strong plays to me. The Warriors have Andrew Wiggins out for personal reasons. Moody's out. They're missing a bunch of guys. Like Gary Payton's out, so it's kind of a condensed rotation here for these guys. They're also struggling. They've had a couple of really bad losses lately, and Steph Curry has been in the media and been, and he has to do everything. So I feel like this is a get right spot tonight for them. And I think against Detroit, I think Steph could absolutely go off. So 8,500. Are they on the front end of a back-to-back, Taylor?
Yeah, so he could play a lot tonight, and then
so I think they push him tonight, and he won't. He's not playing back-to-backs because of his knee. So I think Steph is one of my favorite plays on the slate tonight. The other favorite play on the slate would be Trae Young. Both of these guys are in really good spots against Phoenix. Phoenix's defense has been terrible. It's been declining. They're usually like a top 10 defensive rating team. They started off decent there, but now they're like down to 22nd. They're just free falling for defensive rating. So it's good for a lot of these Hawks players. So Trae would be the lead guy. Buddy Hield is maybe a cheap option. A cheap option on the Golden State who could benefit. He may actually even start. I doubt it, but it's possible. So keep an eye on that. And then Fred VanVleet, Darius Garland with Donovan Mitchell out. If Toronto can keep this close, which I don't think they can. They haven't proven that they can with anyone. They're just a train wreck, but they are getting a little healthier now. They do have, their key guys, Barrett and IQ and Scotty all there. So it could happen. And if that happens, then Darius Garland will be a really good, strong play.
Okay. Taylor, your thoughts at point?
Yeah, I like the Sexton call a lot with Utah's injuries. They have huge role for him. Even Markkanen's there, but Sexton's still going to play a lot, have a lot of usage. Cade Cunningham, not going to be like mega chalk on this slate. He is one of the few 10K and up guys, though, back-to-back for the Pistons, but Golden State's without some of their top defenders, so I don't mind banking on him for a bounce back after sucking last night. Otherwise, I do think Hero's a good call with Bam in a rougher spot against Kessler. Rozier's been playing a lot more for Miami as well without Butler. Still cheap, 5K on FanDuel. Point guard, shooting guard, that's pretty useful. And then I like the buddy call regardless of whether he starts. He's just super cheap. They're low on wings / guards, so decent role for him. Really good play on DraftKings as well. We'll get to that, but still playable on FanDuel as well.
Okay, then we get to go to shooting guard, Taylor. What are we doing there?
So Sexton, Rozier, Hero, all playable here. Ditto for Buddy. Lindy Waters is an okay sub 4K play if he starts. Even if he doesn't, I think he's fine to have in a player pool. Devin Booker with Bradley Beal benched. I'm going to see more usage between him and KD. He's under 9K on FanDuel. I think that's a really good price for him. Great matchup against Atlanta. Amin Thompson is probably the top overall play here, 7,900, but monster minutes. No Bari and Tari. Played 41 minutes in back-to-back games. Pace-up spot against Memphis suits him really well. I think Jaquez is another good value, 5K flat. I slightly prefer Jaquez to Rozier if you're shopping for value in the Miami starting lineup. We do have Hield starting, by the way, so he does look a little bit better now. And then I think Dylan Brooks, revenge game for Dylan Brooks, not the worst cheap play either.
Okay. Kirkwood, your thoughts at shooting guard, please.
Yeah. Well, Amin Thompson is just the closest thing. Who would you compare him to as a player these days? Is there any good comp? He reminds me of like
Pippen?
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know.
He reminds me of like Ron Artest a little bit when he was really good. Anyways, Amin Thompson is a beast. Still, 7,900 is starting to creep up there, but he should be 8,000 plus player. Really like him. Coming off of a bad loss to the Hornets is the Suns, and so in this Atlanta game, so Devin Booker is probably going to be balling tonight. Other than that, I don't know. So someone said to say free balling. I don't know why.
Way to work it in. Good job.
I tried to work it in.
Yeah.
Tyler Hero again. Terry Rozier again. Jaime Jaquez again. All these Miami guys win this dream matchup against Utah. Buddy was rating out at a pretty strong play anyway at 4,200. Now in the starting lineup, absolutely. He's got to start hitting some shots. So if not him, then Dennis Schroeder. And then maybe also LeVert now that he's starting with Donovan Mitchell out.
Taylor, I just want you to know, I've heard some of Kirk's kids screaming. Now both of my toddlers are melting down, and I just want you to know, if this is the route you choose, one day, man, one day this will be you.
Don't worry. Not going to happen.
Not gonna. Okay, yeah, you're fully out on that. That's fair.
He's got hoes in every area code. I bet.
There you go.
That's true. That's true.
Kirk, what are we doing at small forward, Kirkwood?
Amin Thompson again, Devin Booker again, Kevin Durant again. Kyle Anderson is a cheap source of value. The Golden State just has limited bodies, and so all these guys should get some decent minutes, and they're all really cheap. Lauri Markkanen, I like. From the Utah side in this game with Miami, he's been playing a lot better lately. I've been riding him a little bit. LeVert. We get probably the most vengeful. I don't even know if this is true, but I would think he's one of the most vengeful players in the NBA, and it's Dylan Brooks playing against Memphis. So I feel like this is his time to shine or get ejected. Or get in a fight, get ejected, something like that.
That might be the more likely outcome, to be honest. But yeah.
But if not that, then it's his time to shine here a little bit, or at least he'll be trying. But I think he's cheap. He's a good play, I think, in this. I'll take revenge on him. Scotty Barnes, possibility if you're going to play some of these Cleveland value guys, like from the starting lineup. If you're going to go like the Ty Jerome route, I would stay away from Scotty because you're kind of hoping that it's more of he gets more minutes for in a blowout situation. That's about it.
Okay. Taylor, your thoughts as small forward, please.
Yeah, he ran it down pretty well. Thompson, the Suns guys, Kyle Anderson, I like as a punt. Jaquez and Brooks. Najee Marshall, maybe if he starts. He's played a lot over the last couple games without Luka and Kyrie. Bogdanovic is questionable, so if he's out, maybe Hunter or Risa Shea look a little bit better, but not the most compelling values. Hunter's kind of pricey as well. I don't mind Abdia either without Grant. Played really well lately. He's a little bit priced up, but the role's there. No one's going to play him. I think in a tournament, he's pretty solid.
Good stuff. You get to take us to the big forwards. Take me to the four. What are we doing there?
So Trace Jackson Davis, you can play at power forward on FanDuel. He's 6'1". Again, they're without bodies. He should play a lot. Good per minute guy as well. Anderson, Durant, Draymond Green is fine. A little hometown narrative for him going to Detroit. So 6K flat, not a bad play either. I'm a little worried about the Cavs starters because they will limit minutes and the game could blow out, but I'm still getting to Evan Mobley quite a bit, even at ownership, just kind of a positional scarcity thing. I think he's a pretty good play without Mitchell. Markkanen, Avdia, and then Najee Marshall kind of rounds it out.
Okay. Kirkwood, your thoughts at power forward?
Yeah, same guy. Trace Jackson Davis, just continuously too cheap for his role. And he's been playing really, really well. A lot of energy, so that's good. He's a good, strong play. Draymond, again, I wasn't even thinking about the hometown narrative, but that's why Taylor's here. PJ Washington, Najee Marshall are solid plays for the Mavericks against Portland. Could be a good game. I'd probably stay away from Jared Allen tonight. Kyle Anderson, Kevin Durant, and Lauri Markkanen again.
Okay, we get to go to the centers, the big men. Of course, if we can, we're playing my boy Şengün. But other than that, who are we playing, Kirkwood?
Well, you can play Trace Jackson Davis in this spot at power forward or center, but probably want to use him at power forward. But so Bam is going to get some ownership tonight. I'm not sure. I think he's probably a fade against Utah, but he has finally put together a couple of good games here, and he has underperformed most of the season. I've been waiting for him to get going. I just think the matchup with Walker Kessler is going to lend itself to other guys. Mainly, they're going to, they like to drop back on defense and anchor as Walker Kessler, and then let the shooters crush him. So I think I'll go roll with the shooters tonight. But Şengün, obviously. Do we have Jaren Jackson news?
I think he's expected to play.
Okay, I read everyone else. I wasn't sure about him. Okay, so I like Şengün here. Capella, O'Connell is he's still questionable. Just trying to catch up here. Yeah, yep. So maybe you could see it's always, they never like to play Capella big minutes, but it makes sense if O'Connell was out that he could see a little bit of a bump. Each minute is so important with him because he can crush on a per minute basis. So in a matchup like this against Phoenix, DeAndre Ayton has put together some nice games lately. I think that's about it.
Okay.
I wouldn't mind Walker Kessler at all at 7,100. I like that.
Okay. Taylor, we did get some news. THJ, we had Dean tell us earlier that he was suddenly downgraded to questionable. Now I'm seeing he is out for what it's worth. The Pistons are starting Cunningham, Beasley, Thompson, Harris, Durant.
Yeah, I think that makes Thompson a lot more interesting, more so on DK where it's cheaper. 5.6 on FanDuel is a bit pricey, but he's a defender, so you get 3 points for blocks and steals. Like, he can rack up a lot of those. So don't mind that. I think Beasley also gets a pretty nice bump. The minute should be really safe for him without Ivy also. Not a huge bump for Cade and Tobias, but it does make those two, Beasley and Thompson, look pretty interesting.
Okay, good stuff. What are your thoughts at the center? And then we'll jump over to DK after that.
Yeah, not a lot to add. It's kind of a crappy position for, it's usually a deep spot, but tonight it's pretty weak. I think Jackson Davis, Draymond, we mentioned Evan Mobley, all these guys at power forward, you can play at center. Bam, Kessler, Şengün, and then Lively's okay, but Gafford's back, so minute ceiling not quite as high for him. Not really loving anything at center. I think Jackson Davis is easily the best play there.
Okay. Good stuff, guys. Before we go to DK, we want to hook you up with a deal. If you are one of the type, which many of us are, who are dabbling in multiple sports, well, check this out for a limited time. You get your first month of Combo Pro for $79.99, which is just $15 more than what people pay just for PGA Premium. It's just $5 more than what people pay just for NBA Premium. That is some of the best value on the slate. $79.99 for your first month of Combo Pro. Make sure you are getting in on that action. And with that, we will kick it over to DK. Taylor, I have not registered for any contests. I'm not playing tonight unless you tell me there's not going to be any news I have to worry about later tonight, and we can build some winners in the next 17 minutes. No pressure.
We can definitely do that. There's not really a lot of news that we're waiting on, so why not, man? I mean, you're not going to win anything if you win.
Somebody's going to get scratched. Somebody's going to get scratched or something.
Yeah, probably so.
All right, I'm in. I'm registering now, and I want you, Taylor, to walk me through what we're doing at the point guard spot.
Certainly. So Cole Anthony is more of a thing on DK than he is on FanDuel. I'm not in love with that. That game in general has a low total. Minnesota's good defensively, but no Banchero and all the other Magic guys. He's 5,800. I haven't seen the lineup. If we've gotten it, if he's in it, I feel good about it. If he's not, I don't. It's more like an okay play than a conviction play, just because he might be too popular. Levert's really cheap on DK. Ditto for Ty Jerome. I think at 3,300, Jerome off the bench is a really good play. Sexton, if you're looking to spend more money, I think Steph Curry is going to be more popular on FanDuel than DK, but he's an awesome play on DK as a result also. Van Vliet and Garland are okay to a lesser extent. I think Cade is a perfectly fine spend in this Golden State game. Trae Young, I slightly prefer to Cade, given the injuries they have. Jalen Johnson out, Bogdanovich possibly out. There's a lot to like at point guard. Devin Booker, didn't mention him, 9K flat. Probably more of a shooting guard play, but you can play him at point guard if you want. Yeah, that probably does it. There's a lot to like there.
Okay. Kirkwood?
Love Steph Curry. Favorite play on the slate tonight. Karis LeVert in play. I can also play him at the shooting guard position. Same thing. I love Devin Booker again against the Hawks. You could play Cole Anthony. That's probably like the only guy in that game I would probably, or at least on the Orlando side that I would play. That's just a gross, low total, slow, good defensive battle that I would not want any part of tonight, except if Cole Anthony starts again, because I think he'd be a strong play. I think there's possible that Anthony Black could start. So
Anthony starting.
Okay, Cole Anthony starting. Okay, so boom, play. He's the one guy I would play there. And then these Golden State guys are like Dennis Schroeder's in play. The Heat guys again, like Terry Rozier. I think Trae Young's an awesome play. Ty Jerome, like Taylor was saying, 3,300, just really cheap. Especially if this game blows out, he should see much more run, and he gets a big usage bump. Not playing with Donovan Mitchell on the floor. So all those guys, and then you could play Cade, sure, always.
Okay, that brings us to shooting guard. What do you like there?
All right, Amen Thompson. Probably would play him at the small forward and play Buddy Hield here at 3,600. Just now that he's starting, especially, just has the ability to just torch this price tag if he hits shots. He also has the ability to miss every shot he takes, but he got to play him at 3,600, I think, tonight. I like Karis LeVert, Cole Anthony again, Devin Booker again. It's all the same guys. The only one that maybe different is Jalen Green. I think you can play Lindy Waters, but I think he's like my least favorite of like all the like cheap bench players on Golden State. So I'd watch out for him. But you can also play Tyler Hero again.
Okay. Taylor, your thoughts at shooting guard, and how many rebounds per game is Amen Thompson averaging over his last 6 games? Don't look, just guess.
13.
Nah, not quite that much, but damn near 12. Yeah, like that's
That's
just
a lot.
absurd. I freaking love this dude. He's great.
He's an extremely safe play. The matchup is awesome for pace. That suits him really well. Very easy play. The coriest of core plays today. Other than that, like Buddy, Karis LeVert, Devin Booker, I love the Jalen Green call too. Like no one's been playing him, but without Jabari, he gets a big boost. I'm happy to play him again tonight, especially if the ownership's not there. I still like Sexton, even at his elevated salaries. I think Anthony Edwards, you can argue, is still underpriced for the role he's played lately. They benched Conley, putting the ball in Edwards' hands more. Matchup sucks, but no one's going to play him either. Otherwise, Waters is okay. Hero, better play on FanDuel. I still think Strus off the bench as kind of a LeVert leverage option is not the worst thing. Very comparable, same positional eligibility, cheaper. I don't mind Strus in tournaments.
Okay, that brings us to small forward. What are you doing there?
Playing Amen Thompson. Other than that, Jaquez, fine play here. Avdia, Sumani Kamara, I don't mind as a low in value. Markkanen looks good if you have a little money to spend. Asar Thompson, now that he's starting, also you can stack the twins together if you want. Like I said, he's cheaper on DK. Minute should be somewhat secure, mid-20s-ish, maybe a little bit of potential for more. So I like that quite a bit, and the ownership may not catch up to it.
Kirkwood, your thoughts at small forward?
Amen Thompson again, Lauri Markkanen. You can play Lindy Waters here, 3,100 at this position if you really need it. Is okay. If you're gonna, you can play a few of these Warriors guys altogether too. They're just so cheap. But I definitely like Buddy more. Jaime Jaquez again, Najee Marshall, Quentin Grimes, both totally reasonably priced for really good solid minutes against Portland. Denny Avdia at 7,100. He's been balling, getting huge minutes, and just does a little bit of everything. So like that. Oscar Thompson, now that he's starting, I think is a play you could get down to. And then that's about it.
Did someone tell me Jalen Green is not playing? I'm not seeing any tags. Did someone just make that up in the YouTube a while ago?
Yeah, he's playing.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. I believe something. Maybe I just misheard something. Okay. That was unrelated to literally anything. I'm just now building lineups and had to figure that out. Okay. Take me to power forward, Kirkwood.
You can play Kevin Durant. I prefer Booker, but both are fine. Evan Mobley, I'd probably stay clear of. He's going to get a lot of ownership. Great matchup, but I just think that they handle business. I think Toronto's just shown nothing. Lauri Markkanen in play over here. Dylan Brooks revenge game, as we mentioned. He's only 4,800. Could go a couple of routes we already talked about if you weren't listening before. We could definitely see him getting in a fight and getting ejected, or we could potentially see him having a good game. PJ Washington, Jaime Jaquez, Oscar Thompson again. Someone said Jonathan Isaac in chat. I do think he'll see a few more minutes tonight, but I don't see how he plays the 26 minutes. I just don't think that they are willing to give him that many minutes. But if that happens, or is that in chat, then sure, I would definitely play him in a heartbeat at 26 minutes. I got him for a max of 19, but Nikola Jovic has been balling a little bit. This position is kind of gross. PJ Washington, but that's it. I said everyone.
Okay. Taylor, your thoughts on power forward?
Let's see. I like Draymond a little bit over here under 6K. Looks pretty good. Jaquez, KD, Markkanen, Tobias Harris. Maybe he's kind of expensive now, but I don't mind the spot against Golden State. Aldama, I think he's expected to play. He's a really good per minute guy. Not sure what the minutes will be like. He's been out for a little while, but you can throw a dart at that. And then Dylan Brooks looks like he's power forward only on DK for some reason, but that should limit his ownership. We talked about the revenge thing. If he gets thrown out, it is what it is. But point per dollar wise, I think he's decent.
Okay. Got my lineup locked. What are we doing at the center spot, Taylor?
Yeah, Jackson Davis is still only 5K on DK. Someday they'll raise his salary, but not today. DeAndre Ayton, 6K flat, looks pretty good also as a tournament play, especially. Don't mind Draymond here. KD center eligible. Kessler at 6'6". There's some meat on the bone there. Don't love the matchup against Bam. Obviously, Bam on the other side is okay enough, but not my favorite play. And then Şengün can crack a player pool, but he's super pricey. Don't love the matchup, but there's always ceiling with him.
Yeah. Kirkwood, your favorite centers?
A bunch of the same. Trace Jackson Davis, just way too cheap, 5K for the way he's been playing. DeAndre Ayton, Şengün, Derek Lively. I think he's good. I think a lot of people won't want to play him tonight at all. Like he's not quite up in like the top tier. And also we have Gafford playing, but I don't think they'll play Gafford that much. I think he would be the better play if you want to go to the center against Portland or out against Ayton. I think 5,400 is reasonable. Obviously prefer Trace Jackson Davis, but if you want to get a little bit more creative, Walker Kessler, maybe. I mean, I can't help but look at Rudy Gobert at 5,500. Even and against Orlando in a slow, this could be like a sneaky good game for him, like a slow paced, a lot of missed shots, things of that nature. 5,500 just seems. He's sucked this year for the most part, but I think there's ceiling there for 5,500.
Guys, who's your favorite spend up? I had all the money in the world, and I went to the util spot, and I was like, no. Who's the best spend up on this slate, Kirkwood?
Stephen Curry.
Okay. Taylor, you're nodding in agreement there.
Yeah, I think it's either him or one of the Suns. So pick the one you want. KD, Booker. I agree it's Curry, though. I think he's the best combination of ownership and upside.
I can't do the Suns because I can never choose which one I want. And then I just am like, no, I don't want either. So, all right, Steph it is. Guys, we've got about 6-7 minutes here until lock. Let's dive into some QQs. I'm going to start, as always, in the RG Discord. That's where the cool kids are hanging out. We will start with this question from D. Taylor, FanDuel single entry, Mobley or Markkanen?
I think I'd go Markkanen. I'm just kind of concerned about the Mobley minutes.
Okay. DKGPP, Taylor, right back to you from D-Rock, LeVert and Ayton, or Jerome and Hunter?
First one.
Chinatown says, Kirk, I got DK Cash. I've got the money for Book or KD in the util. Who the man?
I prefer Booker.
Okay. Then who the man? Blink 182. So I feel like a lot of people are basically where I'm at here. They've got the money and they don't know what to do with it. Blink 182 says large field DK GPP Kirkwood, 8,200 left in the util. Any suggestions there?
I don't. I mean, the exact price is Bam, but I don't really like him. I think the matchup is great. He had a stinker against Walker Kessler the last time they played each other. 8,200. I don't like Mobley. Maybe Lauri Markkanen.
Okay. Let's see. Chinatown says, who is it with the ejection risk? Draymond? Sure. Yeah. Jokingly, but.
Dylan Brooks.
Yeah. Oh, it was Dylan Brooks. Yeah. Sorry. It was Dylan Brooks.
Draymond always has that too. So.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. Taylor, FanDuel GPP. If Triple J and Bane are out, who would be the biggest beneficiary?
Probably Aldama and Scottie Pippen, but they're expected to play, so I wouldn't worry about it.
Okay. New Generation says DKGPP, Taylor, LeVert, Jovic, or Jerome and Grimes?
I think I'd go the second one, not in love with Jovic.
Okay. Taylor, can you give me a minutes projection on Ty Jerome? What do we have him at?
Let's see. Probably around 20, which at 3-3 is enough.
Yeah. We'll go to a side FanDuel cash question. 3v3. Kirkwood, Rozier, Beasley, Bam, or Trey, LeVert, and slow-mo Kyle Anderson?
Trey, LeVert, and slow-mo.
Okay, very good. Let's see what else we've got. 3-4 minutes here until lock. Checking in the YouTube. Make sure you hit that thumbs up, by the way, if you're watching on the old YouTube. Kirkwood, any cheap centers like Ware or Stewart that you're interested in?
Let's see here. Sorry. I've got to get a better system for when they ask questions like this. Cheap. Man, I don't like any of them. I mean, Stewart, I guess, is fine. It's not someone I would like. I mean, it'd have to be deep. 5,400 for Derek Lively. I mean, Trace Jackson Davis is 5K. That's pretty cheap, but I know you're probably looking for someone cheaper. There just isn't much. I mean, my favorite, the one that we kind of came to on the show here, I just think 5,500 for Rudy Gobert is too cheap.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. Taylor, coming to you. A couple of people saying Gobert is way too cheap. He's way too cheap. Okay. Noted. Do you have any interest there, Taylor? A little Gobert?
Yeah, I think he's been so bad, people aren't going to want to play him, and the price come way down. So I can go with that one for sure.
We'll go to Jim's question. Taylor, thoughts on PJ Washington for Dallas? I landed there. I clicked it. I submitted it. I hate it. Are you okay with it, Taylor?
Yeah, he's kind of pricey, but there's a ceiling if he gets it going with no Luka and Kyrie. It's fine if you land on it.
Yeah. All right. Kirkwood, your guy Butthole Jenkins says Scotty Barnes birthday narrative. Any takers?
If Butthole says it, then we're playing it. That's how we roll. Butthole is probably the most distinguished member in chat, would you say?
I think distinguished is the right word. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do we like Nas Reed on DK? Kirkwood, not a name that I heard you mention.
Yeah, I think I normally like him, and he's kind of like that cheap salary saver, but I just think this matchup is really gross. I could see him underperforming this in this spot.
Yeah. All right. Taylor, let's see. Jovic or Marshall in a FanDuel GPP?
I guess you can roll the dice on Jovic. Marshall might be a little bit overowned, so Jovic.
Okay. We'll go to Sarah's BFF.
Wait,
Green or
hold on.
Grimes? Yeah.
We have to. Butthole did come out and say it's not Scotty Barnes' birthday. Sorry, false alarm.
What?
We had to get that clear.
I like how we just called him distinguished and
Yeah.
reliable. And no. Okay. It is
Now
not.
it's all gone.
It is not his birthday narrative at all. Yeah. Oh, that was for you. Where are we? Jovic or Marshall FanDuel GPP? You said give Jovic.
I said Jovic, but it's not like a strong conviction play, but Jovic.
All right. Less than a minute to lock. DK. Taylor. Green or Grimes?
Green. I'm assuming it's Draymond. Either one. Either green.
Yeah. Okay. Brian says Kirkwood 4,500 or less at the forward spot. He didn't name the site. That makes that tough. We'll pretend it's DK. 4,500 or less forward. In the meantime, Taylor.
Kamara.
Nice. Okay. Kirkwood, back to you. Green or Sexton on DK? Jalen Green or Sexton?
Give me Jalen Green.
Taylor.
Sexton's a better play probably, but
okay.
Give me Green.
Taylor, anybody 3-6 or under that isn't from Golden State or named Ty Jerome? Anyone 3-6 or under, not on Golden State or named Ty Jerome?
Probably not. Let's see. I don't think so. I mean, those are fine plays, so I'm not sure why you're trying to go elsewhere.
What was the under what price?
3-6.
So what? There's not even many up. There's Jonathan Isaac potentially. There is Hayward Highsmith. I mean, it's not much.
We don't like it. Okay. Hey, guess what? We do like is that we did it. We've hit the lock. We've gone beyond the lock. And with that, we're going to bounce out. Make sure you hit us with a thumbs up on your way out. If you don't mind, we would appreciate it. We're trying to get those eyeballs slowly take over the world here. But for now, we're going to go watch some hoops. So for Kirkwood, for Taylor, for our wonderful production crew, always working hard behind the scenes. Guys, we appreciate you. We love you. And we will catch you tomorrow. You have been